plan invernal. Let's start talking about who started with this project. It was two men. Do you know their names? You know their names. Güell is one and Gaudí is the other one. Exactly. Güell, the richest guy in Barcelona in his times. Güell. And then Gaudí, Antoni Gaudí, the most eccentric architect in Barcelona in his times, and maybe still nowadays, the most eccentric one. It's wonderful that they became friends because then Gaudí could do anything he wanted in this park. Now come with me and we'll see how that is actually true. Let's go. Ay, mira, una guitarrita. ¡Qué bien! Un poquito de música. Aquí también tenemos muchos artistas como en Portugal, ¿eh? Sí. Deseo quererte para hacerme sufrir más. Adorarte para mí fue religión. First stop we're going to do here, in case somebody wants shade. Huh? So you can see this beautiful structure here. This is called the Superior Aqueduct. And actually, the thing is, Mr. Güell had the plan of creating a community for the rich people here. Watch out for the car, huh? A community for the rich people of Barcelona. They would live in between nature because in those times people were aiming to have a healthier lifestyle and they thought maybe here it would be their chance. Let me tell you the story by the very beginning. You can see here. Okay, this is the old city of Barcelona, Raval, Gothic and Born. It was a very congested city, always victim of plagues and diseases. And after the Industrial Revolution, in the 1800s, the richest people, the bourgeois, the rich ones, they didn't want to live in this nasty city center. So they teared down the walls and they created this very well-organized city. It's called the Enhancement. The Enhancement was here because they wanted a healthier lifestyle. And then Mr. Güell thought, I will buy this piece of land here. And people, they will want to go all the way up here to live in this, in the middle of nature. And that's why they created Parc Güell. The idea was for 60 families in the beginning, although there are not 60 houses, but the idea was for 60 families. And then Antoni Gaudí would prepare the common areas and he would leave 60 spots empty for 60 different families to buy the land and then build their house in there. That was the idea. See, now we will explore this park and see how many houses actually were ever built. This is a common area, for example, the Superior Aqueduct. These common areas are useful because they separate the different areas in the city. They are, for example, also very beautiful, and it would make the city, give more value to the city. And as they were carving on the stone, they were taking stones that they would use for all these structures, so it would not take too long to build this park. Actually, they started on the 1900 and they finished the constructions in the 1914. See? Now, let's continue through this path.
Det kommer snart.
¿Tú has estado en el Palacio de Pena? ¿Has visitado? No. Ok. Porque a mí me recuerda un poquito al Palacio de Pena. Poquito, por el color, por el color. One stop here to see the model home. the house to show the people how it would be to live here. So they could decide if they wanted to come or not. Show home.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for correcting my English. I always say model house and nobody had ever told me. So show home?
Show home in England.
In England.
Homes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is the show home. They finished the construction in 1902 and they started using it as so. And then in 1906, Gaudí bought it and started living here. So this is not known as the show home. It's known as Gaudí's house. Although he lived here, they could still show people around and use it as in the same function. On the back, you can see the views of the city. To the right, the Jewish mountain, Montjuic. Mon Mountain, Jewish. It's called like this because there was a big community of Jews living in there for many centuries. But in the 14th century, the Pope said all Jews should have their own neighborhoods. So they made them all move to the city center, and they had to live in some streets they had assigned to them, the Jewish quarter. Now, we will explore a little bit more. We will go under our feet to see a beautiful corridor, and then we'll go down there. See, we don't jump because it's complicated.
If you look far that way by the water, we came by ship. You can see our ship from here.
It's your ship there?
No, not mine. It's a cruise ship. Not my ship.
See. The cruise port is right there.
Yeah.
Do you see the hotel in the shape of a sail?
Yes.
The W.
Yeah.
The W. That hotel is magic. I don't know if you knew about that.
What hotel is magic?
That one in the shape of a sail.
Okay.
It's magic. Because it was absolutely forbidden to build so closely to the sea.
Okay.
But magic happens sometimes when men have a lot of power and money. And then they start building a hotel in a place where nobody can build anything. And that hotel is in the sea.
What's the name of the hotel?
El Vela, the W. W.
Okay.
Now let's continue. We want to see what we have under our feet. You go down first and then to the left. Les encuentro en el algarrobo, un árbol, ya van a encontrar. You can go down and then to the left, enter into that area, and I meet you in the carob tree.
Thank you.
Aquele estão dois, não foram. Estão já? Tá. Vamos dar para Jasper. E mais seguidas. Da para tu. Çaki kolle.
Let's walk the corridor until we find the carob tree. Have you watched the Totoro movie from the Ghibli Studios?
No, is it good?
This is very nice. You see? Oh. I feel like I'm in the movie.
It's funny.
And these are the dust moles. How do you call it? Okay, so the tree. If there was a centenary tree here, so Gaudí said, we will not cut it. We will build around it. So they simply surrounded this tree here, which is now very, very old. And this corridor receives the name of this tree. It's called the corridor of the carob tree. And it looks like a mine. If we look up, we see the stalactites falling down.
Yeah.
Don't worry, it's not dangerous. They do a lot of maintenance here. Like there, for example, probably there was one that was loose, and they closed that area. Now, we will go down to the main path. We arrived to the main path of Park Güell. It's called the Path of the Rosary, and actually it should look here. This is the symbology. The rosary beads. These round stones are like rosary beads, and then when you're here, you pray while you walk. And there are 5 stones for 5 Our Fathers, like the beads of a rosary, and then 50 Hail Marys. So only active Christians will live here, praying the rosary while walking through this. But we have to imagine we have arrived to Park Güell in our very nice car, and we need to know if we want to live here or not. So now we will start walking around here and seeing this as we were one of those bourgeois, and we were thinking, maybe, what do I choose, this, Paseo de Gracia, or the Gothic neighborhood? See, let's walk. Oh, Paula is here.
Everybody knows.
Bon dia.
We say the Germans are very punctual and very structured.
Now, quick stop to see the show house. Okay, so what style is this house? Who made it? Actually, Gaudí knows he is very criticized in the city center because his style is too eccentric. So he asked somebody else to do the model home. Now, this house is not made by Gaudí. It's made by another architect. His name was Berenguer. He was a boy who would go wherever Gaudí was doing something, and he would take notes. So it's a student of Gaudí who made this house in a more likable way. See, now I'll show you a little bit how modernism looks like, because modernism is the style of this house, and it's the style of Gaudí. I have it in painting, I have it in glass, in stained glass, and I have it in sculpture. Gaudí was a modernist because he was developing his art in the times of modernism. But he's very different from this. Classic modernism was inspired in what they were doing in the north of Europe, because they always do the things better in the north, no? And then they were trying to imitate what was happening in France, what was happening in Germany, in England, and then they are doing it a little bit more different, no? So then they create the modernism of our city, of Barcelona. But the idea is showing the opulence, the richness of Europe, the beauty, beautiful women mostly depicted in beautiful clothes, expensive jewelry. The idea was showing this, no? The beauty, very harmonic buildings, square shape, harmonic. But Gaudí was not thinking about the richness or opulence of Europe. He was thinking about God, and he was thinking about nature, and he was thinking about Catalonia. These are the 3 main topics of Gaudí. So he is different from the modernists in most of the things. But the only similarities are the use of a lot of colors and the use of a lot of different materials. Now, what is this then? This is modernist, nice reliefs, but not as extreme as Gaudí. Gaudí would put reliefs that would get to our noses, and clear inspirations on animals, plants, see, trees. this is in between. These artists try to do something in between. Now, we will see now how Gaudí is not harmonic at all. We are getting very close. We still haven't seen, only the corridors we've seen from Gaudí. But now we're going to see how he would build a house, a building. One quick stop here because maybe you want to take a picture with the all this landscape of Barcelona. You can see the Jewish mountain Montjuïc, and then you can see Sagrada Familia. One day Sagrada Familia will become the tallest church in the world. When they finish with the tower where you see the crane, they will finish with the Tower of Jesus Christ, and then it will become so. Why so tall? Would Gaudí want to be in the World Guinness Book of Records? No, he was not thinking about this. He thought the mountain, God's construction, is 173 meters high. So he said, my church will be 172.5. Not as tall as the mountain. I'm not trying to say I'm better than God, but, you know, imitating God. And then it makes balance in the city, more or less. That's the reason of the height of the church. One quick stop here because maybe you want to take a picture with the all this landscape of Barcelona. You can see the Jewish mountain Montjuïc, and then you can see Sagrada Familia. One day Sagrada Familia will become the tallest church in the world. When they finish with the tower where you see the crane, they will finish with the Tower of Jesus Christ, and then it will become so. Why so tall? Would Gaudí want to be in the World Guinness Book of Records? No, he was not thinking about this. He thought the mountain, God's construction, is 173 meters high. So he said, my church will be 172.5. Not as tall as the mountain. I'm not trying to say I'm better than God, but, you know, imitating God. And then it makes balance in the city, more or less. That's the reason of the height of the church. Then you can see here the inferior aqueduct. This wall is called the inferior aqueduct. With this canal you can see here. It's not like a cool Roman aqueduct, but the idea is this, and that's why they would call it like this. But in this wall we can see very well what we mean when we say Gaudí's architecture is organic. He tries to bend the architectonical elements together with nature, so we feel it's part of the same thing. And he would use stone that was here in the mountain. Actually, this mountain was called the Bald Mountain. It's not called like this anymore, now we call it Parc Güell, but the area that Mr. Güell bought, the Bald Mountain, because there was almost no nature, there was a lot of rock. But then they started planting all these trees, so there is a design in all the gardens and all the park. That's why we have a lot of variety and many palm trees, pine trees, olive trees, algarve, broomflower, Mediterranean plants. Àlex,
Hola.
ens dones accés?
Sí, quants en portes?
En porto 17.
Vale, doncs endavant.
Què t'ha dit? Què ha passat?
Saps, Maria, tu.
Ai, ja comença a fer calor. Somebody fainted. Now we start with the hot...
Yeah.
I'm missing people, I feel. No, maybe not. It's cool. This morning it was a little nicer, yeah. No, yeah, I know. Welcome to the square in this garden city. It looks like a Greek theater because the idea was to do theater, music, poetry recitals, which were very trendy in those times. The bench is wavy, not round, wavy, because then you sit in the wave with your friends and family, and it creates, for example, there you can see a very pronounced one. It creates little areas where you can talk to your friends and family while you watch the show, like a bar. All the bench filled with these broken tiles, plates, bottle bottoms, coffee cups. See the plates there. So very, very interesting, no? Because they actually had to reuse all those pieces to decorate this bench. They would go to factories of tiles and ask for broken pieces. They would go to shops and ask for broken tiles as well. They would ask the workers to bring from their houses something original they had that they wanted to throw away. No, nothing is thrown away here. They said, bring it here and we'll see. If they found a house in demolition, they would say, let's go and see if we can collect something as well. And then they reused all of this. But Gaudí had a lot of work, so he couldn't do everything. In this case, he asked another artist to design the bench. So the design we see here had been, well, Gaudí decided there would be this kind of mosaic, and he supervised everything, but the design is from an artist called Jujol. His name was Jujol. Now, we're going to cross to the other side. Later, if you want, you can go back up and you can walk more around here. You can take pictures of the bench with the city on your back. But now we need to go there and sit down in the bench and see the ergonomy. This reddish house here was the house of Güell, the man who paid for everything. He had the biggest house, of course. There was a countryside house here, and then they changed all of that and built this house. Now, this bench. The idea in the bench is not to try to stand straight because we would break our back. We have to lay on the bench, okay? You have to let the relief fit perfectly the curve of your back. See, they did this with the real back of a worker. If you lean forward to see the show, your buttocks slides back, and then these bumps stop you from getting stuck in the bench forever or not having a good shape. So these stop you when you go back on your buttocks. Okay, I don't know how to explain this. This is very difficult for me. But you understand, the bumps are so people don't get stuck. And the bench is inclined, and that's why we need the bumps. Because when it rains, the water will go inside of the holes and flow through the canals, and then there are some gargoyles, and the water will go down and be reused. Everything is reused here. Well, a system to save the water of the rain. Here in the floor, we have water as well, sand as well, because when it rains, the water filters through the sand, and it can be reused also. Now, from here, you can see it. From here you can see this house, the house of Güell, the house of Gaudí over there, up there in the hill, the house of Trias. Trias was the richest lawyer in Barcelona, I can say that, a very wealthy family. They wanted the house here as well, they had that one. The problem is though that that's it. There are only 3 houses in the park. They were going to build 60, but they only ever built 3. Güell, the sponsor, the architects, and their lawyers. So we say that Park Güell was actually a big failure. It was a failed project. They were going to make it work. They were trying to push people to come and live here and buy the land and build their house, but they were not interested. So only they could convince their lawyer to come live here. From that beautiful wall up, we just have forest, and forest. 16 hectares of land ready for 60 homes, but only 3. Why was this such a failure? Why were the bourgeois not interested in living here? We will see that later. See, now we will walk around this failed project a little bit more, and we'll see if it, what happened here. Huh? Now come with me. So you mean, Marta, that today we're not going to be able to see anything but what we see with you? Vale? More or less. Because from that up, there's just a lot of stairways, some corridors, and not much else. See, this is the architectonical area. It started there where we went downstairs or here, and it will finish where, more or less, where we finish our tour. See, the architectonical area is what is World Heritage by UNESCO, what is protected, the place where you cannot bring dogs or animals, the place where you cannot play soccer, because you can imagine kids here, they used to play football a lot, but not anymore because it became World Heritage. Now, we're going to see that corridor. So you go down the first stairway only, and then to the right. Only the first stairway, and meet me here. A quick stop here. We need to talk about this lady. The Güell family were so wealthy, they had a lot of service living with them. And there was a washerwoman who worked there. And one of the construction workers who worked here for Gaudí, he fell in love with that woman. And then he talked to Gaudí, and they decided they would do for her this sculpture. This is the story of the washerwoman. Then every time she would look through the window, she would see herself here, and maybe someday she would like this guy back. See, and you can see she has a basket of clothes in her head. And she was probably very pretty, I don't know. Now, all this corridor is honoring her. It's called the corridor of the washerwoman. If you want, you can walk with me, and we'll see it all. Good thing is to walk inside, because then you will see how it looks like. But I walk outside because I don't want to be in all the pictures. But if you want, you can walk inside. Also, it's cooler. If it's too hot for you guys, you can go inside and you will see how cool it is inside of the corridor. ¿Tienes calor? No? Vale. There is reinforced concrete, reinforced concrete inside of these columns, and they are inclined because then they're falling onwards and they are making strength onwards, and then they are stronger to hold the ceiling because of their own weight going onwards. Gaudí said he was using gravity, so in his mind, God's creation. See, also when he does an arch, he wants to use the most natural arch, the arch that is based on gravity because it's a chain. Imagine you take a chain and you do it like this. The arch that it creates, whether it's wider or thinner, it's the arch that Gaudí wanted to use. It's called the catenaria arch. So that's what we find in his arches. All Sagrada Familia is based on that arch as well. And then external columns normally will be inclined. And then we have to go together inside of the corridor.
So sorry.
Thank you. No, I will drink it now. Now, we make a stop here to see the waves. Como las olas del mar, ¿no? Un poquito. Un poquito. So the stone has been smoothed here. So it looks like it kind of looks like waves. Huh? But the rainforest still is all decorated with stones, so it is more natural. Gaudí said, when a building has what it needs with only the resources available, it will have more character or dignity, which is the same thing. These are his words. See, normally I'm not that corny. It's just Gaudí saying that. Huh? So he meant stone everywhere. And for example, in Sagrada Familia, he said only stone. And now we don't have any more stone in this city. Maybe because of that. Huh? They were taking stones from the Montjuic mountain, the one we already talked about. And then in 1956, they closed the last quarry in Montjuic. So now for Sagrada Familia, another big issue and another big reason of why it's not finished yet is the stone. It's hard for them to find stones similar to the ones that were in Montjuic. So right now they take a lot of stone from Ireland, for example, from Galicia, an autonomous community which is very far. It's at the other end of Spain. See, in the northwest. In the northwest. Looks like I'm talking about the Kardashians. Huh? Now, we will go here, make a quick stop to see the patio of the Güell family. Al gat rumbero. Traditional Catalan song. The song talks about a cat who likes rumba.
Oh.
Dancing this rumba. Eh?
That's awesome.
He says people throw coins at my hut and something like that. Okay, whatever. You can see here all the grandchildren of Mr. Güell. Huh?
Oh, these are all the grandchildren.
Oh my God! Can you imagine? He had 10 children. But actually, these are not his grandsons or daughters. Actually, this is because it's a school now. It's a public school because the sons of Güell, that was true, he had 10 children. The sons of Güell, they decided that they had no idea what to do with this. When they finished the constructions in 1914, they would still live here. In the 18, their father would die, Mr. Güell. And then in the 22, they donated all this to the city hall. And then it became a public park. And the city hall decided that would become a school.
Oh, it's a public school and a public park.
Yes, yes. And then why do we pay to go in if it's public? No? Because there was so many people visiting. It used to be for free.
When was it for free?
Before 2014.
Oh.
Okay.
In 2014, they realized that they had to close the doors. It was overcrowded. There was a lot of people, homeless people, living here. You can imagine. Very nice for them, no? Drinking in the middle of the path. I don't know. Now if some homeless people are local from Barcelona, they can also come here, see? But turns out that there are not so many people who decide to come here. Also people having parties in the forest, leaving garbage, a lot of maintenance required. So the city hall decided to close the doors in 2014. And then they ask people to pay, so they don't have more expenses. Now they have benefits from this park, and they also can control how many people step in this, which is World Heritage, so it's not so crowded as it used to be, and it's noticeable.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna continue. We will go down that path, that ramp over there. Here. For example, I don't agree with the fact the ticket is so expensive, because They wouldn't have to, no? But I understand they had to close the doors. It makes a lot of sense. This January, they just made it double the price that it used to be. This January. So, well. But actually, people who are registered as citizens of Barcelona, they can enter for free in the park. See, if you are from the neighborhood, you will receive to your normal post, the card. And if you are not from this neighborhood, it's called the La Salud neighborhood. If you're not from here, but you are registered in Barcelona, you can get an appointment in the city hall, and they will do for you that card as well. And with that, you can enter anytime. And if you are a resident of Spain, you can do another card called Gaudí Plus, Gaudí Mes, and with that Gaudí Mes, you can enter for free in the park twice per year. If you're not from here, but you are registered in Barcelona, you can get an appointment in the city hall, and they will do for you that card as well, and with that you can enter anytime. And if you are a resident of Spain, you can do another card called Gaudí Plus, Gaudí Mes, and with that Gaudí Mes, you can enter for free in the park twice per year, which is, I think, enough for somebody from, for example, Andalusia, or my mother from the countryside in the Pyrenees. She can come for free as well if she wanted with this Gaudí Mes. She's never been here though. See? Okay, now we arrive to the coolest area, no? Temperature-wise is the coolest area in Parc Güell. You can see this has many columns. Actually, these are pipes. See, when it rains, the water filters through the sand in the square, and thanks to these concave shapes, the water will go inside of these pipes and fill the cistern we have under our feet. So in the times when it's not raining so much, we will have water in Parc Güell. What else? The ceiling, you can see all these beautiful designs all over the ceiling. They were done by Gaudí himself, no, differently from the ones on top who were done by another artist. These were done by Gaudí. We don't know what Gaudí was thinking about when he did this, but there are some very nice interpretations that say that Gaudí decided to put here marine patterns, the inside of the sea. So we have marine currents, an octopus over there. And then we have 4 suns. Nature again on his mind. 4 suns. The interpretation has been it might be the sun in each of the seasons. This one, the sun in autumn. Now come with me. Sun in summer. The sun in winter. The sun in summer. And the sun in spring. Maybe. It looks like something Gaudí would think of. Esto iba a ser un mercado. So the idea of this area was to have the market for all these families living here. And then you can imagine all the stands with people selling, people buying, no? Farmers market. But for 3 families, nobody was going to come, so they never celebrated the market. But Gaudí, thinking that it was going to be so successful, he prepared this. So on the bottom of the columns, there are ceramics, tiles, easy to clean. It will get dirty, but then it's easy to clean thanks to all the tiles. Okay, now we're gonna see the 2 buildings that are purely from Gaudí doing anything he wants to do. He did whatever he wanted for these 2 buildings. And actually, I told you 3 families ever lived here, but actually it's 4, because the gatekeeper also lived here. Gatekeeper and gardener. The house to the left, that one, it was the house of the gatekeeper. And right now it's visitable. You see the people in the balconies? No, these are not the gatekeepers. They are people visiting only. Then if you want, when you finish the tour, you can go down and line up, and then you can see the 4 floors where he would live. The last gatekeeper we had was a woman. It was actually this woman who lived there alone. If she wanted, she could have lived with her family, but she decided she would live there alone. And then the other house, that one was the house of paperwork, bureaucracy. If you were living here and you had a kid, you would go there and register your kid. If you were interested in living here, you would go there, and there was a waiting room, and they would come and show you around. And then also there was a telephone. In those times it was like this, one telephone, and all the community shares the telephone. Soon enough, the rich families, the wealthiest families would have their own phones, and then it was not useful anymore. And right now, as it would be useless, they have another function for that. What do you think that building is? What could it be? It would be very useful here.
Tu vai descer depois?
Sí, vamos a finalizar allí.
Ah, tá bem.
Pero si desciende toda la escalera, no le van a dejar volver a subir.
Ah, tá. Não,
Nos quedamos por aquí.
Nós só vamos no
Perfeito.
lagarto ali.
Sí. A souvenir shop. Oma, very useful souvenir shop. Huh? Oh. So now we want to meet the most famous animal here, the salamander of Park Güell. We don't know why Gaudí decided to put this animal here, or we don't know what it is, because it looks like a dragon, it looks like an iguana, it looks like a salamander. We don't know what it is. He never told us. But there is a very nice interpretation regarding... Okay, so Gaudí struggled a lot to live. When he was born, he couldn't breathe right, and the doctor said that he would not make it, but he survived. And then for the first 7 years of his life, he suffered from a very severe case of rheumatism in his bones. So for a long time, he had to be at home all the time, and he felt, he heard the adults saying that he wouldn't make it, but he made it and made it and made it. Also, as an adult, he had a very weak health. Again, an artist or an intellectual who was ill as a kid and then decided to make the most of his life. Frida Kahlo, Nietzsche, I don't know how do you pronounce it. Gaudí is another example. There are many. No? In this case, what I was going to say is he felt like a true survivor of life. And the salamanders, whenever there is a fire, they're the first ones to escape. They're always running, being chased. They are true survivors. And some people say Gaudí felt identified with the salamanders because of that. He felt he was a true survivor as well. And he would hang around, and that's maybe the reason why we started saying salamander. He would hang around with a hat and a little salamander made of tiles attached to the hat. Which is, I think, pretty cool style, but also maybe it shows that he felt identified with the salamanders. That is the theory, local theory, of why we have a salamander here. But there are other theories. Also, some people say it might be the dragon. We can go down if you want, and I'll continue here. Some people say that might be the dragon of St. George. But there is a very nice interpretation based on deep studies that create a relationship between Gaudí and the Greek. And as I'm the tour guide, I should be the one who studied and everything. I need to tell you that one. They said Gaudí was inspired on the Greek to do this main area. You saw there something that looks like a Greek temple. On top, you saw a Greek theater. And the washerwoman, she was a Greek Doric sculptor. So was he inspired on the Greek? Maybe. And what kind of temple is this? This in this theory, that would be the temple of Delphos. There is an area in Greece called Delphos, where the story said that the god of the sun, Apollo, And we saw the suns, I remember. So the god of the sun, Apollo, he slaughtered a dragon, and then they could build a temple there in Delphos honoring Apollo. The temple of Apollo in Delphos would have an oracle who would do predictions for the people who came. And the oracle would use a tripod like that round structure there with 3 sides to see future, past, and present. And people like Hercules went to Delphos to have their predictions made by those oracles. And here we have the dragon, the tripod, and the sons of Apollo. No wonder it's been studied, and analyzed, and then it's been created this relationship between this. Now, let's get here, and we will finish the tour there in the shade. Also, I would like to see that chimney up there. You see the chimney has white dots. They are coffee cups. Big Americano coffee cups, upside down like this. Do you see them? Kind of. Okay, so why was this such a failure? Why do you think it didn't work? What things were missing here? Imagine you are one of those bourgeois with that nice car I showed you. What kind of lifestyle do you want? Easy. Easy, closer to the city center. See, this was far away from the city center.
Green, more oxygen, like better.
See, they like the nature, but they had a lot of money to spend, and they wanted to live in the city center, where there were the theaters, the operas, the shops, the brothels, the cabarets, the circuses, the taverns, the social life. All of that, they would want it in their life. And if they lived here, they would have no social life because there was nobody else. It was a big society of showing off. You would not like to meet them. They had a saying that was terrible. They had a saying that said, the most times you stop to salute somebody in Paseo de Gracia, the most popular you are. So they would calculate it in this way. Paseo de Gracia is a famous street, very centric. And if you stop 3 times this week, because you know 3 different people or families, and next month you have to stop 6 times, it means your popularity grew, and then you're more popular. No? So they wanted all of that in their life, and they, I think Gaudí and Güell, they hadn't analyzed the market right. Their market was people who wanted a lot of movement, a lot of life. They wanted to know about the new trends. Their business was very important for them. And if you are in the city center with all the other companies, all the clients, all the people, you can do public relations. You can have more of that. The church was very important for them as well. And here, as this was not working and nobody trusted this, they never ever built a church. But they had the idea of doing it. But what people saw is, but there is no church right now. So the church was never built because nobody trusted enough to come here. So it's this, entertainment, business, social life, possibility of showing off more, having more prestige, popularity, and church. More or less, this has been analyzed as what failed terribly in Parkway. So we're very happy it was a failure because we are walking around here thanks to that, and there is a lot of park. Otherwise, there would be many houses. Maybe it would be different. Huh? And any questions so far? Any thoughts? I don't know. I don't know how much it costed. I'm sure I read it sometime, but I don't remember. I don't know. A lot. See, in pesetas, the old coin we used to have. So probably somebody did the conversion, but I don't remember. More questions. Maybe there's something I could actually answer.
Are there any concerts or shows still done here?
When it's the festivities of the neighborhood, Up there in the square, they do some celebration. See, little humble concerts, huh? And then castellers. They do a lot of castellers. Castellers is a tradition from Catalonia to build human castles. See, we do like this, and then in a round. Let's try it. Let's try. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. So castellers is people climbing on people, and then creating a castle. You climb on someone. You would have a belt very tight, and then me barefoot, I would put my feet in your belt, and then 2 feet here. I'm sorry, I'm very strong. And then go up, and then somebody climbs us both. And a kid like this we have here would go all the way up and climb those 6 people, and then go on top and do like this, and everybody applauds, and then he goes down like a monkey. That's the castles, human castles we do here. Have you ever tried? Good thing would be to do a workshop on castellers. Huh? Normally they're very nice, and when you do a workshop they put nets. So actually there are nets all over and a hole in the middle, so if you fall in the net. See. Any other questions? Any other thoughts? Thank you so much, everybody. Now it's your time to continue on your own. If you go down the stairway until the end, you will see there is like a line, and then you cannot go up again. It's a stairway only down. What does it mean? We cannot go back here? Yes, you can go back here, but if you are down there, you will have to walk, and then go to the Gaudí house, and then continue. And then in maybe 15, 20 minutes, you will be up there again. So no problem. But that's why we finish here, in case somebody wants to go up.
Este año sí. Alla fine sono i anni da che.
حصريا على موقع مهرجانات دوت كوم.
Supuestamente sí es una buena empresa.
A ver, está la cosa.